During the Revolutionary War, both the British and the Americans had many advantages and disadvantages that dramatically affected the course of the war. There were a multitude of factors that led the Patriots to victory, including their passion and motivation, familiarity of the land, and foreign allies. Regardless of the sheer size of the British Army, all of these factors had major impacts on the war that ultimately led the Americans to success. One of the most noticeable components resulting in the American victory was the passion that the Patriots possessed. They were fighting for independence. This was a powerful motivation for them. It was a definite cause that fueled their passion, and it gave them much more reason to fight, whereas the British had much less of a drive behind them. However, independence was not the only source of motivation. As it is made clear in Document 8, many Americans joined the ranks in order to rise in social class. This is actually one of the primary reasons men enlisted to fight. Also, in Document 1, women played a major role by scrimping and saving to survive through the tough economy. Both independence and social class served as major sources of motivation to join the army and fight. These motives were not present in the British military, which largely contributed to their loss. Another important factor was the familiarity that the Americans had with the land. The Patriots had lived on that land for decades by the start of the war, and they knew it much better than the British troops who had only recently set foot on America. Regardless of the overwhelming size of the British Army in comparison to the Continental Army, or how effective the British military tactics were, the Americans were always a step ahead because they were in a land that they knew very well. This was a significant disadvantage for the British because of the fact that they had never been on this continent before, which discouraged many of the English, including Prime Minister William Pitt. In Document 5, it is very apparent that he recognized the impossibility of a British victory. Unfamiliarity of the land was a huge factor in the loss of the British. Foreign allies also played a major role in the American victory. France especially provided substantial economic support for the colonies, and many French troops joined American forces. Also, the French naval fleets helped to reduce the potency of the British Navy along the East Coast. Document 9 is the official alliance that France and the United States formed. It states that His Majesty and the said United States shall make it a common cause and aid each other mutually with their good offices, their counsels, and their forces. Also, Document 4 shows how desperate George Washington was for troops, and it was the foreign aid of the French, the Dutch, and the Spanish that supported the struggling colonies in the midst of the Revolutionary War. In conclusion, as powerful and tactile as the British Army might have been during the Revolutionary War, the Americans had many advantages that ultimately led them to victory, such as their passion for independence, their familiarity of the land, and the foreign aid they received. All of these factors contributed to the American victory that changed history forever.